Hello, everyone. I wanted to welcome you to our information session for the Honors Bachelor of Digital Experience Design degree program. Basically, what we're going to do today for the first 20-30 minutes, hopefully less than that, I'll be going through a slide deck that has lots of information about the program, and then after that I'll welcome any questions or comments that you might have. Okay, so I'll use myself and I'll even pop the video on for a second here. Okay, there I am. I think you might be able to see me in the bottom corner. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, it says video quality is poor right now. I think actually quite a few people are on Blackboard Collaborate now because this is quite a popular platform for online learning environments, and as I'm sure you're well aware, there's all classes basically all classes in Canada have gone online now. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to get through this without any interruptions. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and I'm just going to open up the file. All right, there we go. Okay, so again, my name is Dave Colangelo. I'm an instructor in the program, and I also coordinate the program. So let me tell you a little bit about what digital experience design is. So digital experience design, we can break it down into 3 different parts. And those parts are service design, user experience design, and interaction design. And the way that I usually explain these things is that they're all sort of nested within one another. If we start at the highest level, we look at service design, and service design would be thinking about how a user might come to know about a specific product or service, how they are enticed to engage with it, the actual engagement with the product or service, and then what happens afterwards, how they are enticed to come back to use the service or product, or more of a long-term and higher level approach to understanding product and service design. The next level is user experience design. So for that, we would be looking at, let's say, a specific part of the service. So I like to use the example of self-checkouts at the grocery store. So the service design aspect would be, the higher level service design aspect would be looking at, okay, how does somebody come to understand where they might flow through the grocery store? How does it engage with some of the other products and services that they have at the store? And how does it interact with their promotions and things like that? And then how are other employees involved in helping to run that service? User experience design would look at, okay, what are the user experience goals specifically? So are we looking for efficiency? Are we looking for to entertain our user? What is it that we want to get out of the experience? And then a user experience designer and researcher would try to create things that would help achieve those things and also be able to go back and research that. And then at the finest level would be interaction design. So we're looking right at how a user interface works. So that goes down to graphic design of user interfaces, where we put information, how we organize information, what sort of feedback we provide to the user. And so all those things sort of work together to generate and create products and services and experiences. So those are the 3 levels that we engage with in the program. Okay, I'll move on to the next slide. And we do so in 3 ways. And because this is a bachelor degree program at an applied college like George Brown, make is at the center of what we do. So we are always making, prototyping, testing things. On either side is think and ship. So I'll talk about think briefly. Think is about understanding the bigger picture and understanding how design fits into culture, how it fits into modes of production and consumption, and also liberal arts. So having a broader understanding of a lot of different subjects. So you can take electives in film studies and sociology, and all of those things will broaden your horizons, but also inspire you and help to inform the work that you do in design. Is about commercializing products and services in the digital realm. So how do you take an idea and monetize it? How do you market it? How do you fit it within different business plans, from the size of an enterprise, a corporation, to startups? So those are all really important aspects of what we do in the program. The think part, again, we have courses like design thinking, theory, culture research. The make aspect, we will be designing, building, and testing digital experiences. And the ship part relates to entrepreneurship and the commercialization of digital products and services. Now, we've started 2 years ago. We have 2 cohorts already started in the program, and come this September, we'll have our 3rd cohort. So the program is really kind of picking up steam and has lots of great momentum, and we've got lots of great instructors lined up that have been doing an excellent job so far. The program is going to focus on user experience design, human-computer interaction, research and usability studies, design process, and technology development and implementation. So that gets into a little bit more detail. I'm going to get into even more detail. First, I'm going to tell you about our new building and labs. So what you're seeing here is a rendering of the building that I should really replace this with an actual image, because it looks even better in real life. Our brand new building, we occupied it for the first time this year. It's probably, I always tell my students, we've got the nicest classrooms of any school in Toronto. We are overlooking the water at the foot of at the foot of Sherbourne and Front Street, and Sherbourne and Queens Quay, excuse me. So we're right down by the water, across from the Red Path Sugar Factory and the Loblaws there. It's a really great location. The students absolutely love it. And more than that, we've got brand new labs and classrooms and facilities. And that is really rare and a really special thing that I think the students really value, and really, I think helps them focus on their work because we have such great facilities. So when graduates are graduates, we hope that they'll have the analytical, technical skills to envision, create, and test digital products and experiences that generate profit while also being socially relevant. So that think, make, and ship is all sort of contained in that one mission statement. In terms of jobs, I think that our students are really well placed to pursue careers in user experience design and research, interaction design, user interface design, information architecture design, mobile applications design, and usability testing, while also having the ability to enter graduate studies. So that's something that's special about our program. It is a bachelor degree level program. It is accredited by the province. It's a full bachelor degree program on par with anything that Ryerson or U of T or any other university offers. And that means that if you want to go on to do a master's, you have the qualification to do that. So you can go into digital media, interaction design, human-computer interaction, and a lot of other different graduate programs, which is, I think, a great option. Being someone that's gone through graduate degrees myself, I think for the right kind of person, it's an amazing pathway to take. And quite often graduates feel like they either want to go straight into work, so that's totally fine, and there's a lot of pathways for that. But then other graduates feel like they've just sort of started to get into their niche and they want to go deeper, and that's what graduate studies are for. Okay, so more detail, as I promised earlier. So this is a semester by semester breakdown of the program. It's color coded so that you can see the balance between think, make, and ship courses. We start off with a good balance of thinking and making. And you'll see we have a few different series of courses. So we have Drawing 1, Drawing 2, we have Design Tools 1. Those will continue into the next semesters, and you'll see that we sort of start with some basics and understand how to do digital design in 2D, then move to 3D. We start with observational drawing as a really sort of basic skill for communicating ideas, and then move into digital environments. And then we have our Think courses, so design, culture, and theory, intro to digital experience design, where I give you a broad overview of the different disciplines that we touch upon. And then you get to take a liberal studies course, which I think is really amazing and really is an important part of post-secondary education. So semester 3 and 4, you'll see again a balance of think and make. Computing 1 and computing 2, we do some coding. We don't get too heavy into coding, but we do touch upon it so that it's a tool that you have that you can engage with, or it's a language that you can speak that later on when you're interacting with software developers to help build out an idea that you have tested and designed for an interface. You know how to converse with those groups. Then we move into our lab classes, so human-centered design lab, real project lab. That's where you learn tools and techniques and put them into practice for designing, testing, and evaluating digital experiences. Anything from designing new interfaces to physical computing, so Internet of Things, actual products or services that are connected to data flows that have some kind of physical component. And we have a makerspace where you can 3D print objects. We have that space. You can also do some basic electronics. And then we also have a usability testing lab, which is brand new with lots of amazing equipment in there where you can test and evaluate your products on different users. Okay, getting into year 3, we get into some special topics courses, and those will change over the years based on what's sort of relevant at the time. So right now there's a lot of voice-activated products and services. So one special topic that we're thinking about doing is, instead of wearables, hearables. So anything from your Alexa to your Siri or Google Home, all those things present some unique design challenges, and that's one thing that we'll tackle, and we'll build out some of our own hearables in that course. We have digital media studies, we have our design jam, which is kind of quickly iterating through the design process, and then we get into some of our SHIP classes, so entrepreneurship, publishing, and distribution. Now, one really amazing part of our program is that we have 420 hours summer co-op between year 3 and 4, and it's paid. Our school is really well placed for this kind of integration of co-op, because 80% of all of our programs have some integrated learning component. And so we have a robust framework for that. We have really great connections with industry, and this program can just jump right into that and be able to place students in really long-term, substantial, and paid co-op. Finally, getting into year 4, this is the final year, we have some more Think classes, some special topics classes, which right now we have as MUSH sector. So MUSH sector is municipalities, universities, schools, and hospitals. And then we have Internet of Things as well, but again, those topics will change. By the time you get to 4th year, this field is changing so quickly. We like to leave those open and see what's happening in the world, and have our students be sort of at the forefront of what's happening by engaging those topics at the right time. You have a couple liberal studies classes, and then you have your major project. That goes over 2 terms. That's kind of your capstone project, where you get to really decide what it is that you're really interested in, what tools and skills have you really developed, and then which ones do you want to develop further, and then you put that all into a year-long research and development and production project. So that's a really an amazing opportunity to create something that's portfolio worthy, that's going to sort of help launch your career or get you into grad school. and we help you with all of those things with our labs and with our faculty. Okay, so admissions requirements, this is all on our website as well, but and you could read those in greater detail, but you do have to have 6 grade 12 university or university college credits. You do have to have a math credit, visual art credit, which we're pretty flexible about, so I'm guessing I may have some questions about that, but generally if there's some aspect of visual arts, even if it's not, you know, a fine arts course, then we're usually to accepting that as a requirement. There is a questionnaire that you have to fill out, something that's just sort of asking you why you're interested in digital experience design, an opportunity for us to get a sense of your interest and also your writing ability. And then portfolios. So that could be anything really. We sort of ask you to set up a Google Drive folder and throw in any work that you've done, digital or analog, that has some sort of artistic or design component. It could be even, you know, a podcast, or it could be a mock-up of a poster or photography. We really accept a broad range of creative and design work there. And I think roughly we're looking for 8 to 10 pieces of work for you to just kind of show us what your existing abilities and interests are. Okay, so that was just about 20 minutes as I expected, and now's time for you to ask me any questions that you might have. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I've got my video here, and hopefully you can see my video. And I'm ready to answer questions that you might have. So Christy just asked, how many people are you expecting to be enrolled in September? I can tell you that our first cohort, we had an enrollment of 12 students. Our second cohort, we had 16 students. And come this September, I'm guessing it's going to be a bit higher than that. And our capacity is around 22. I think we'll probably have 22 students enrolled in September. We've had quite a few people apply already. So now that people know about the program and it's starting to get established, I think we're going to have full enrollment this September. One good thing about us not having full capacity in our first 2 years was that it's really helped us focus on delivering the program and tweaking it, and I think that's been amazing. We've been able to sort of get a lot of kinks out of the program, and it's not to say that it hasn't been a good experience for the students so far. I think that's a unique experience for students as well, but we've really, especially for the first and second year, have a good sense of how to deliver this program. So it's new, but it's already been tested, and that's something that we teach and preach is sort of ongoing testing and evaluation in design work, and we treat our program in the same way. So we do a lot of feedback sessions and work with the students to help us tweak and make sure the program is working as best as it can. So Christy just asked, does everyone take the same classes together, or is there some separation? Everyone does take the same classes together. So we offer each class once a year at the time that we've set for it. Christian, I see you've got a question. I'll get to that in a second. Getting back to Christy's question, everyone does take the same classes. You are with your cohort basically throughout the entire program. I think that's a huge benefit. We've got small class sizes, and the students really bond with each other. They work really hard together and for each other, and have a lot of fun even outside of class. And so I think that's one big plus, is that the students are kind of on the same path and are growing and learning together. Christian asked, what other courses could be counted as a visual art? We're pretty open to that, so I can't sort of list them all off the top of my head. I'm not super familiar with all the courses at the high school level, but I will say that we would take things like if there's kind of like a photography class, fine art, obviously, but it could be things like a more computer or technology focused class where you might have created, site or created, a small program, anything like that, really. We're pretty open. So, and that's something that you can, if you get stuck at the application phase because of the visual arts credit, that's something that you can send an email to myself and to our admissions department, and we can usually work that out. I'll include my email here so that you have it. Okay, Christian asked, can you do multiple co-ops? Yes and no. So we will officially place you with a company between third and fourth year for your official co-op that counts for credit towards the program. That doesn't mean that you can't find your own internships or co-ops or summer positions or even work during the term. And we already have students that haven't even finished their second year that are lined up to do summer work with companies in Toronto. So you can do as much work as you want, you can sort of handle and find in addition to the co-op, but the co-op that we count towards your degree is the one that we facilitate through the school and happens between third and fourth year. To sort of explain how that process works, in the first term of third year, we go through putting together a portfolio, CV, interviewing skills, those sorts of things. And then we also, by the end of the term, all of the potential co-op jobs are posted. So students start applying to those. And then in the second half of third year, they'll have their interviews and secure their placements, which will start in the summer of after third year. So we do really prepare students as best as we can and have things sort of timed right for that key co-op between third and fourth year. No problem. Okay, Christy, is there a place to get food in the building? Yes, there is a Starbucks at the moment, and they have food. Literally right across the street is Loblaws, and that's where everyone gets their food now. So all the students just go right over there. The Loblaws has a hot food counter. There's fried chicken and French fries, pizza, sandwiches, sushi, and it's a whole grocery store. So you can also get a piece of fruit or something like that or something, and do your grocery shopping as well, which a lot of students do. So that's super convenient. Now, there are going to be more restaurants and services opening in the building that we're in because there's parts of the complex that haven't been completed yet. So there's this whole pedestrianized pathway between our building and the building next to us that is going to be filled with restaurants and coffee shops and things like that. So I think by September, those should be ready. So that's pretty exciting. There should be a whole brand new kind of shopping and food area attached to our building in September. I'm waiting for things. Also, is the building open at night or on the weekends to do work? Yes, the building, I believe, is open until about 10 p.m. every night. I think it closes a little bit earlier on the weekends, but definitely students, it's a brand new building. They love to be there. And there's lots of people that are working into the evening. And so, yeah, we do accommodate that. And there's lots of great workspaces and open spaces and computer labs. And there's a library. A part of the George Brown Library has a satellite room within or space within our building. So there's lots of spaces, different kinds of spaces for different kinds of work in our building. No problem. While I'm waiting for any other questions, what would the timetable class schedule look like? Okay, so basically all of your classes will be, you'll have pretty much have one day where you don't have classes. The rest of the schedule, it varies. It depends on what are available and when instructors are available. But typically, if you've got 5 classes per term, you would have 1 day with 2 classes. So it would start, you'd have one class start at maybe go from 8 a.m. till 11 a.m. You'd have a break between 11 and noon, and then you'd have another class from 12 to 3. The next day you would have a class anytime between 8 a.m. and finishing at 4 or 5 p.m. And the same for the next 2 days. So that's usually how it works. You would have 1 day with 2 classes and then 3 days with 1 class. Sometimes you might have a term that has 2 days with 2 classes, which is pretty heavy, and then a 3rd day with 1 class with 2 days free. But most of the time it's 4 days of classes spread out between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. I was going to mention something about transit. So if you're curious about how people get down to the building, at first when we moved there, I was a little bit concerned about how long it would take, but then I was happily surprised by how quickly it took to get down there. So I'm all the way up by the stockyards, which is pretty far from the building, but I can usually get there within 45 minutes. The fastest way is to get to Union Station somehow, and then take a bus from Union Station to the building. You can also take, and that's the big bus, the 6 bus, I think. You can also take the Sherburne bus. Some people get to Sherburne Station and then take the Sherburne bus down, and that takes you right to the waterfront. And the buses drop you off literally right in front of the building, which is great. It's super easy to just kind of hop on and start your transit journey right away. Some people walk to Union, and that takes slightly longer, but that can be nice on a warm day to kind of stretch your legs and get to Union, and then from Union you can go anywhere. Thank you for participating today. I look forward to seeing your applications soon. If you have any questions, there's my email. And I'm guessing you've already been to our website, so there's lots of information there. But again, don't hesitate to drop me a line to ask any questions or about anything about our this program or about the school in general. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.